right into it. Okay. We will be on in exactly 60 seconds from now. Stay tuned. All right. Sorry for the delay there. Uh, Usually, I would have, right once the live stream gets going, I would be on and firing straight away. So here we are in the 3 minute mark. Greetings, peace, and salvations, brother. Life of this world is short term. Every soul shall taste death. Worship none but God. Come to Islam. All right, brother. Well, salam alaikum to you. That one guy says hi. How are you doing? Sorry, guys, got a little allergies going. You know how it is, from the spring ending going into the summer. But yeah, that one guy says hi. Diamond says, walaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Shout outs to you, my brother. So we got some real interesting topics that we're going to talk about today. Number one, Ian, Garry, and Carlos Prates. I'm going to say it off the bat. It's going to be a one-sided beatdown. And I'm going to give you breakdown analysis and reasons as to why it is a one-side beatdown in terms of Ian Garry having his way with Carlos Prates. And for everybody that's tapped in, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, because not only are we going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about why the British public hate Ben Whittaker so much. And there's a lot of history that goes into that. There's a lot of social class issues that sort of play into that subject. Bro, are you okay? That one guy? Yeah, I'm okay, brother. I just, just a little allergies and whatnot. So I am okay. And Toxic Game Plays, hey, what's up, my man? Says, my chest feels tight after drinking so much coffee. Well, my man, shout out to you and a toast to you for a little morning coffee out here in lovely Sacramento, California, USA. Mm. So I love me some good coffee as well. So yes, Ben Whittaker, there is a social and sociological reason as to why the British public hate him. Let's be honest about this, right? The majority of people in the UK, their life is very hard. And there is no doubt about that. I want you to imagine this, right? Let's say you're a coal miner. Let's say you're a factory worker. Let's say you're a plumber, because this kind of goes into Conor McGregor. You remember he was a plumber, or at least a plumber apprenticeship at some point. He didn't want any part of this. He wanted a little bit something better for himself, right? Something a little bit more classy or upper class. And that's exactly what he went for. So, once again, when he reached that status, guess what happened to Conor McGregor? It was like as if the majority of the Irish public could no longer relate to him, because I'm going to give you the cold, hard honesty about this, right? The Irish, a lot of them, even though there's a high, flux of nationalism that's on the rise in Ireland, the majority of Irish people are liberals at heart. What does he say here? Ben Whittaker is another Josh Kelly. That could be very true, right? He has a flashy style, and with that flashy style, it annoys people. In particular, people that are, I'm going to just say it, in the white British working class. They are annoyed by the likes of Ben Whittaker, because think about this, right? He's a well put, light skinned brother, British Olympian. And just like Josh Kelly won silver in 2016 Olympics and fought a mother effer that looked like Billy Blanks and lost. Oh, okay. You know what? Toxic Gameplays has a lot of really good boxing knowledge, right? And that's because, he's around a lot of boxers in the South, in the southern part of the United States. So he's very well tapped into a lot of boxing knowledge. So shout out to Toxic Gameplays for that. Jelly Juice says, relatable experiences, part one. You remember when you used to bust yo ish in ish and sound you see me crying for and then flushed it down. Relatable, let me know. Yeah, that's an interesting comment, Jelly Juice. Okay. So a lot of people can't relate to Conor McGregor anymore, right? Because the majority of the Irish are now socialists. Let's be honest about this, right? Look, socialism, even though there's a high flux of nationalism that's going on in Europe, socialism is an aspect that many Europeans are okay with. Okay? And as a result of that, many of them are going to hate somebody who is rich, somebody who can provide for themselves, and somebody who can have no problems providing financially, right? I'll give you an example. I saw this German Arab gangster movie called The Dogs of Berlin. And there was one scene that caught my eye, right? So this Arab German gangster goes into the school, and they're having a PTA meeting, and they're discussing that there are some budget issues going on. And as a result of these budget issues, the school cannot pay for this particular school lunch program and what have you, right? So what did the German Arab gangster guy do? He pulled out his cash and said, all right, I'm going to provide this for the school. Here's 5,000, 10,000, whatever you need. There was this one white guy who was a socialist, right? I mean, obviously, he's like a liberal socialist, square. He said, oh, but it is a school that is supposed to pay for this. It is supposed to be the government that's supposed to pay for this. This is the mentality of the Europeans. Now, if a rapper showed up in a hood in the United States or in London and started giving kids, gifts or whatever, Do you think any of the parents are going to complain and say something to the effect of, well, you know what? The government in the United States or the local whatever mayor should be the one that should provide for this. Never in the American mentality, but in the German mentality, this white guy was mad at the German Arab gangster for paying the school's PTA budget, proclaiming that the government should have been the one that was paying for it. What is Toxic Gameplays here says? Irish People's Parliament is like the soap Irish Spring. Interesting. Gets the job done, but I literally go without showering instead of using it. Okay, so that's an interesting take right there. Jelly Juice says, agreed. Sometimes I let, and, oh, okay. Uh, Jelly Juice, you have 5 minutes to redeem yourself, and you will be right back in, you know what, in 60 seconds. So there it is. I gave Jelly Juice a 60-second timeout, and you got to do better than that, my man. You got to do better than that. Jelly Juice, I think he's Southpaw TV. Why do you say that? What about Southpaw TV? Is that a boxing channel? I'm assuming, or or maybe just combat sports in general. But yeah, all of that is correlated, right? Ben Whittaker is hated by the British public because, let's just be honest about this, right? They're not like him, okay? And it makes a lot of people upset. Look, their idea of a good British lad is somebody that is quiet, somebody that doesn't really speak out of line, somebody that is humble and this and that, but yet they like Tyson Fury, but yet they don't like it if a black athlete does it. You know the vibes. You know where I'm going with this. You know exactly what I'm trying to say, right? The protection for the complexion, type of deal. I mean, those are real. Southpaw TV used to be wild. Toxic Gameplay says when Kobe died, he said F Kobe and Gigi. He was the Charleston White of sportscasting. Oh, wow. So he said some crazy stuff like that, huh? Well, how about all the crazy abuse that the British are now hurling at, Ben Whittaker? And right now, I can tell you there's a lot of people that are hate watching this because I'm defending Ben Whittaker. A lot of people say that Ben Whittaker is just out there showboating. I disagree. You know what I think? I think he's fighting with a strategic game plan, right? Dominic Cruz in MMA fights like this. TJ Dillashaw, a guy who I've trained with, fights like this. Uriah fights like this. Chad Mendez, another guy who I've trained with, fights like this. So all these top level guys, they all fight like that. Very elusive. And you know what? I think Ben Whittaker just happens to throw a little bit of his pizzazz and jazz to it. And I think a part of that annoys the British public because, look, this is what I've heard, right, from people that have grown up in the GB system and people that have fought in the amateur ranks in the ABA and in the UK, right? This is what they say. They say that the way that they teach you in the British gyms, they don't really teach you a lot about strategy, but rather they teach you more about, how to grind. Okay. And then sometimes they don't also, so it's kind of weird, right? Like, so in other words, they're very limited in the way that they train you. And then there's the other aspect of jealousy as well, because then you got a trainer who only went this far in boxing and then he sees potential in one fighter. So he's going to limit how he trains him because he knows that he might do better than him and it's going to hurt his feelings. Oh, man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of that going on. Now, luckily for Ben Whittaker, he never really experienced that when he was coming up, right? He had the right people around him and this and that. But, man, there's a lot of people out there that really realistically are giving bad decisions to their fighters, and now they're never going to reach where they're at. Toxic gameplay says here. People hate cocky boxers. Remember Adrian Broner. That's a great example right there. Playboy 3112 says, bro, watch KSW 105 this weekend. Inshallah, brother. Okay. A lot of good fights, and Eddie Hall will fight. Wow. Okay. Mariusz Pudzianowski. You know what, Playboy? If I go and react to that fight, perhaps maybe I'll give you credit for it if it's like high in views, which it might be. I mean, obviously it's a big card, two big names, and then Toxic Gameplays here says, "Bro, that's a dope take." Yeah, because I'm very much interested in sociology. Toxic Gameplays, right? It wasn't my main specialty in college, although it was something that I did study. Just on my own time, like meaning that it wasn't for, let's say, a degree or anything like that, or anything that was geared towards the degree that I was going for, but rather just a better understanding of the world. Well, put it like this, right? A little bit of military strategy to go along with it, also while understanding your surroundings and people's temperament. More importantly, Toxic Gameplay says when Ben Whittaker starts fighting the Benavidez's, I know he will stop dancing, or maybe double down, only because perhaps maybe it is what got him to the dance. And also keep in mind that particular style is very difficult to deal with. If you know how to fight like that, you are very difficult to deal with. So I went from fighting amateur Muay Thai and then going into MMA, right? When I was fighting in amateur Muay Thai, by the way, I have an undefeated record in amateur Muay Thai. So, just, throw it out there. But yeah, now I'm learning all of this MMA stuff and how to fight in a very elusive manner, right? Now I go back and spar Muay Thai guys again. Guess who has the advantage? I do, because of the elusive movements that I'm using against them. Okay, Gary Allen says, yeah, whatever. And in Poland, they went to cancel everything on April 26th. By the way, Gray Allen, sorry, I was going to call you Gary Allen, but Gray Allen, you redacted his statement. Yeah, very good on your part, man, because you know what? You really have to learn your mistakes in terms of the rudeness. And not only that, the disease that perhaps you have in your heart due to the fact that you just want to say something hateful. Now, what's the extent of your MMA knowledge, or are you a boxing fanatic? Jelly Juice says. Well, I am a boxing fan, but I think that MMA is, yeah, more of my specialty in understanding it. So a little synopsis of my martial arts background, right? I grew up competing in Taekwondo. This is one of the medals that I had won right here when I was, I think, 12 years old. So look, there's a date right here, right? October 7th, 1997, right? So I was 12 years old when I competed in that in point fighting Taekwondo. Um, and by the time I was, I think, 10, I've already wrestled. So I've wrestled and done Taekwondo at that. I want to see you fight Ariel Hawani. That would be awesome. Toxic Gameplays. Jelly Juice says how I treat S Mega ain't hateful. Okay. Jelly Juice coming back respectfully. Yeah, that's what we do around here, right? We make you redeem yourself and come back respectfully, because rather that's the world that you'd rather live in. So okay, so wrestling, Taekwondo, and then when I came out to California, then I started doing Muay Thai and then learned Jiu Jitsu, and then that's when I started training briefly with Team Alpha Male, and then everybody else around Sacramento, which, by the way, is a very big fight town. We got a lot of good gyms out here, uh, other than Uriah Favors gym, right? So give him a second chance advance. I want to, yeah, yeah, toxic game plays. So yeah, that's just my overall knowledge um of MMA. Do you feel like you are well known in SAC? I would say so. At least if let's say in the streets, there's people that know me there. There's people that know me in obviously the MMA circles. So yeah. And then I go to 24 downtown. It's basically the center of all 24. So there's a lot of people that know me as the craziest guy that works out there. So I mean, you guys have seen my workout videos. You know what I mean? It scares the piss out of people, and I'm not even saying that to brag or anything. It's just just being factual. Do you really want to live in a world without comedy? Jelly Juice says. Uh, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not a big, comedy person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that I'm opposed to it, but I don't go out of my way to look for comedies. Like, for example, if I'm at a store, or at least back in the days, if you were like at a Blockbuster store or something, like action was the first thing that I would go for, not comedy or romantic films or anything like that. So, I guess it's just preference in that particular matter. So, okay, more on Ben Whittaker and why the British public hate him, because there's a lot that you could go off of this subject. But first, Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates, which is happening this coming weekend. Um, this is an easy fight for Ian Garry. And I think that you are insane if you think Carlos Prates has a chance. And you think he has a chance because, oh, great, these are the fight nerds. They got all of this going on, great glasses or whatever. They have a marketing team going on. Yeah, they're undefeated, but undefeated in a 20 fight streak, that is, right? But it ends right here. It ends right here with Ian Garry. Ian Garry is too high level. And on top of that, you've seen what happened with his fight against Shufkat. Shufkat right now, to many people, is considered the uncrowned 170 champion. So put that in perspective. Um, Toxic Gameplay says, why do you think fighters cry after they lose? That's a very good question, because there's a lot that they put into it, a lot of sacrifice that happens in camp. And I think there's a lot of emotions that happen in a fight camp as well, right? For anybody that's ever prepared for a fight camp of any kind, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. There's just all these roller coaster emotions. And then on top of it, add on to the fact that they're depleting themselves all week long. So that has a factor into their mental state as well. Jelly says, I love CP. CP with 4 consecutive KOs. Yeah, it's exciting, but it stops right here, right? Can he knock out Ian Garry? No. Because if Shufkat can't even do it, a guy who literally finishes everybody and can't finish Ian Garry, where is it that Carlos Prates is going to stop Ian Garry? And then there's plenty of videos that show Carlos Prates quitting. I see Ian Garry being able to make him quit. You know what? Here's something you guys have to understand about Ian Garry that many of you out there who are Andrew Tate fanatics are just not going to understand. Ian Garry is a very durable person mentally because of all the abuse that you hurl at him and all of these lies that a lot of people make up about Ian Garry, because a lot of these dudes are unfortunately just sexless males that can't get married, and so therefore they have a jaded view of the world, and in anything that they see in this particular matter, somehow they're going to look. I'm going to tell you something, right? Ian Garry is the alpha in that whole situation of their triangle and what have you. You guys don't even understand, right? Ian Garry is the alpha in that whole situation, and for you to say otherwise, it is only based on, I mean, predisposition, biasness that you have for him or for his lifestyle. Now, look, for me, I don't agree with it as a Muslim man. Uh, you would never change your last name for a woman, especially not their last name. And on top of that, as a man, or as a woman rather, what, in Islam, they're not even allowed to change their last names. Do you know that? Because you don't come from their lineage. So it doesn't make sense for you to change your last name as a woman when you don't come from that lineage. And what are you trying to like imply, that you two are gonna, have incest or something because you now share the same last names? I mean, but that's our Islamic view of the world. So but yeah, again, I wouldn't do that. I would not, live Ian Garry's lifestyle one bit. But the man is durable, and it shows in all the abuse that you people hurl at him, and yet he rises above it. So Toxic Gameplay says, oh wait, what does it say here? Yeah, Ian Garry doesn't move his head. Okay, that's very true, Jelly. That's very true. He doesn't move his head, but he moves his feet. And because he moves his feet, it's going to be very difficult to hit him. Toxic Gameplay says, yeah, I remember when I was 13, this heavyweight slapped me in the gym so hard I started crying. To mask my crying, I did push-ups, and when I went down on the reps, I cried, then stopped crying at the top. Wow, dude, that's crazy. That's a crazy story. Jelly Juice says Shufkat isn't a power puncher. He's more of a dangerous on the ground. Carlos Prates is the most powerful man in the welterweight division right now. Jelly Juice says. I also think that he's a quitter. There's fights of him in the regional scenes where he quits, and I think that this is where Ian Garry is going to make him quit. Ian Garry can go 5 rounds, right? I think this is going to go in a look. I think there's going to be a fourth round stoppage. Ian Garry is going to pick him apart from round 1, 2, and 3. Carlos Prates is going to have some moments, but ultimately Ian Garry is going to finish him in the championship rounds. Whether that would be fourth or fifth round, mark my words. That is my official decision and my official prediction for that fight. So we're going to mark this at 27 40 as my official prediction from this live stream. So I want you guys to remember that as a receipt. Shufka, okay, we read that. Do you have amateur or pro experience? I do, yes. I have Muay Thai experience. I have one MMA fight that I did in Reno, and that's about it. And then obviously, grew up doing Taekwondo and wrestling. So yeah, and until this day, I still train, I still grapple, I still hit the bag, I still spar with dudes, I still train hard, as you guys see in my training videos here. So, and I talk MMA, and it's great. It's a great life, a great life being able to talk about MMA and to have great conversations with folks like you around the world, right? It couldn't get better than that. But so that's my official prediction for Ian Garry and Carlos Prates. Now let's talk about Ben Whittaker and the hate from the British public. If we spar, don't knock me out. Toxic Gameplay says, "Nah, brother. I'm very much I know how to spar with my friends. Let's put it like that, right?" Abdul Rahim says, "What do you think about the current and the future state of boxing and MMA?" I think that it's exciting more than ever. However, I think that just right now, within the seasonal point of UFC, it's very much lackluster, at least within the summer range. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the UFC right now is trying to work out a Netflix deal, another TV deal away from ESPN. So they're basically trying to shop for a house, okay, metaphorically speaking. And as a result of that, the summertime right now, the fights aren't as exciting, but man, the future, you got Jones and Aspinall, still a possibility. Islam, Ilya Tapora, still a possibility. And maybe they're telling them behind the scenes, hey, listen, uh, don't tell anybody that we got this fight going on. Jelly Juice says, won my last fight a month ago. Shout out to Jelly Juice, my man. So anybody who fights or competes out here, please let me know. Let me shout you out. And man, because I love having real trained people coming in here, right? It's a very positive environment when you have well trained people in here, and also people that like to banter as well. You know what I mean? So remember, I like to banter, but with a limit, because let's just say that I live a very conservative lifestyle. If you know what I mean. So okay, back to that topic at hand, right? The future of boxing and MMA. I talked about UFC, why it's a little bit slow right now, and they're probably telling the guys behind the scenes, "Hey, don't tell anybody we got this fight going on." Um, but for whatever reason, maybe. Oh, what's going on here? Turn on the light. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Had to turn on the light there. Okay. So okay, in boxing, what else is the current state of boxing right now? I mean, boxing is at a great shape right now thanks to Turkey El-Sheikh, right? All of the fights have been made, and everything is being settled. Look at what they're doing with the Dubois and the Usyk fight, right? There's a lot of unsettled business going on there, right? Jelly Juice says still undefeated amateur MMA record. My man, that's what I'm talking about, man. Shout outs to Jelly Juice Oos for that one. JC Reyes says, thanks for checking out our live stream last week. I'm one of the hosts of the Filipino Combat Sports Show. It's called Combat Sports Weekly. Shout out to you guys, and people call us the Titos of Fighting. All right, man. Shout outs to my Filipinos and Filipino MMA. I know that they're very big out there in 1FC. Obviously, Mark Munoz, a guy that many of my former training partners have been, familiar with. Jelly Juice is 7-0. Shout out to Jelly Juice 7-0, and then shout out to JC Reyes. And the name of the show is uh, Combat Sports Show. Okay, so Combat Sports Weekly and the Titos of Fighting. So yeah, please check them out, man. That's what's up, man. See, I love it when well-known podcasters come in here and tap in. I'm very honored to have that. So shout outs to all these guys out there. So it was a premature stoppage for Ben Whittaker and Liam, and then Frazier, Clark, and Ebenezer. um, we will see improvements in the refs, judges, scorecards, drug cheats, stop money laundering, middleman promoters, and corruption. Yeah, that's very true, right? Abdul Rahim, the thing is that it seems that this is the staple of combat sports in general, if you really think about it. For one, let's take a look at Bob Arum, right? What happened with Bob Arum? Bob Arum was a DA prosecutor. Do you know who he prosecuted? He prosecuted the Italian mafia, who was, by the way, uh, running boxing. So he prosecutes them, locks them up. Guess what Bob Arum does? Oh, yes. He makes a career change and he goes into the private sector of business, which is promoting boxing after he locked those dudes up. And then Jelly Juice says Bob Arum is dead weight to boxing at the present. Is that what ATP means at the present, or yeah? Let me know. But yeah, you feel that he's dead weight nonetheless, is what you're saying, Jelly Juice. So yeah, man, that's what it is. So there's always going to be a corruption. Oh, at this point, okay, got it, got it. Thank you, Jelly Juice. Thank you for the yes, the correction. So it's always going to happen. The corruption in boxing, right? Italian mob, and the next thing you know, it's the Jewish mob, and the next thing you know, it's the black mob, and the next thing you know, it's the Irish mob, and the next thing you know, it's a country or an oligarch, right? No names mentioned. You know what I'm talking about. You know the vibes. And that's the reality of boxing and combat sports and MMA. Look at the Yakuzas. They ran Pride FC. There's a lot of Russian MMA organizations that are ran by the Russian mafia. And that is the reason why they had a great relationship with Pride FC, with Fedor and M1 Global, because you're dealing with gangsters on gangsters, Russian gangsters, Japanese gangsters. They understand each other's language, just like rappers in the streets that come from gang affiliated neighborhoods. They understand each other's language. JDM versus Bilal predictions. I do have a prediction on that. It's actually at a video. If you guys would like to help, I do have a few videos that are out now. I don't know what it is. The shorts are doing great. The videos are not doing so great. I don't know if there's some sort of algorithm, you know, what do you call it? Algorithm interference because of the shorts. But nonetheless, check out the videos that I have out. JDM prediction. What else do I have out there? WrestleMania. To go check out the video. I basically said that Bilal Muhammad is going to wrestle him all 5 rounds, and that JDM is very durable, very tough on the feet, very hard to finish. And I think that that's what it's going to be. Sean F says, "What can be? What can be?" I don't understand what you mean by that, but shout outs to Sean F on that regard. So back to Ben Whittaker. Okay, Ben Whittaker is hated by the British public because the British public want somebody that is like Tom Aspinall. Now, granted, Tom Aspinall really is this guy, right? He has this blue collar mentality. Uh, Stick your head to the ground and just do your work type of deal. Very humble, right? Has a little bit of a humor, right? You know, the British, they love humor. Everything has to be humorous. Everything has to be, banter, as they say, right? Ben Whittaker doesn't look like that type of guy. Not at all. Ben Whittaker doesn't look like the type of guy that would, hang out with you at the pub. And by the way, a part of that would annoy a lot of the British public. Like, what do you mean you don't go out to the pub? What do you mean you don't go out and drink? That's going to annoy them. That's the reason why they don't like Muslims. Let's be honest about it. Muslims don't go out and drink. But you know who Muslims have a great relationship with? They have a great relationship with people that are seasoned fighters. You know why? Because look at my man Jelly Juice, who's current 7-0 amateur ranked fighter right now, right? You think that somebody like him is going to be drinking on a daily basis? Do you think somebody like him is going to be out there partying all the time? No. This is not what we do as Muslim men. So as a result, a lot of us live very disciplined lives. I mean, look, you've seen my workout videos. I'm about to be 40 coming up in, I'm not going to say when, but let's just say that I'm between 39 and 40 right now, right? You see my workout videos. That's not by mistake. That's not by accident. That's just by a lifetime of training. And not only that, having a healthy lifestyle of not drinking, smoking, etc. Right? So, yeah, man. That's okay. What did JC Reyes here says? Unfortunately, the corruption in combat sports is going to be really hard to fight. Correct. Combat sports, combat sports to a lot of bigger promotions is a business above everything else. Correct. That is the reason why they allowed Conor McGregor to throw that dolly at Khabib and everybody in that bus, including Ray Borg. Because they knew that it was good for business. They want to get their investments. JC Reyes says investments worth. So it means that they have to manipulate results. That's what they will try to do. That's true. You know what? Here's the thing. There are parts of the UFC where I thought, you know what? Maybe they want to manipulate the results, or maybe they favor one guy over the other. Here's the thing, right? That I noticed about the UFC. I think that they built a business where it is predicated on the product rather than the results. So, in other words, Dustin Poirier beating the hell out of Conor McGregor, still great for business. For example, Anderson Silva getting knocked out by Chris Weidman, still great for business. I mean, not really, because you could have made more money with the Roy Jones fight on top of it. And but yeah, you understand the drift. You understand what I'm saying in regards to that. So yeah, that's true. Corruption in combat sports is always going to be prevalent, and it's not anything that you can really change. So yeah, going back to Ben Whittaker, right? Uh, there's this term in England called the Garys. Okay, you know who the Garys are? They're like these stereotypical racist white British hooligan types that hate the world, hate everybody, and this and that. These are the Garys. Okay, Darren G. If you guys know who Darren G is, he's a Liverpoolian, social media influencer who was like a former gangster turned snitch, right? This guy is a stereotypical Gary, right? He hates Muslims, or doesn't like them, or is very critical of them, or something in between those lines, right? Even though Ben Whittaker is not Muslim, these are the type of guys that would hate Ben Whittaker. They hate black people, they hate Muslims, they hate minorities, and as a result, they formulate this idea of hate against other people. Look, here's the thing, right? I'm going to be honest with you. The MMA space is racist in terms of the YouTube community, and you can't tell me that they're not. You look at Critical Eye MMA. I mean, you what am I not supposed to call a spade a spade? The guy is a racist. He'll tell you himself he only wants the advancement of white people, and quite frankly, living in California where there's racial gang politics, I'm not a prude to these ideas, right? Like I get it. If that's how you feel about your people, that's perfectly fine. I'm with it. I'm with it on my side of the fence. I get it, right? So that is the reality of MMA YouTube. They promote a lot of white nationalism, a lot of anti-Muslim bigotry. So this is the reason why I decided, you know what, I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to become probably the worst stereotype that you know of a minority, and as a result, maybe create a counter narrative to that culture or that subculture. But it's all right. That's what it is. MMA is about clashing of the ideas and clashing of styles, and you're doing it in one form of another, and now we're just doing it in the combat of media spaces, right? So that's the reality of it, right? There's a lot of Garys out there, a lot of MMA gurus and things of that nature, right? All of these dudes are Garys. So these Garys are the same type of guys that realistically don't like Ben Whittaker, and they don't like Muslims, they don't like Khabib. They say that, oh, well, his style is boring or this and that. That's just the reality of the game. Love Bug here says, do you think Johnny Somali is a great role model for the younger generation in MMA? Not really. I don't know much about him, but doesn't seem like the best role model. I think the best role model to have in combat sports is Khabib, and I think that he is the ultimate consummate professional that I think everybody should look to emulate. Toxic Gameplay says, if I see another Pope John Francis Pope, I might lose it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. He did pass away. Um, from what I heard in the news cycle. So, Pertuccio Sanchez says, I would toss your so good that Oligarch would me on. Oh, okay. All right. I suppose just keep your keep I don't know what to say to that, man. That's a little sus, but okay. Yeah, bye, buddy. For real, for real, for real. Try to keep it respectful in here. But on any regard, so yeah, all these Garys, man, they hate people like Ben Whittaker. They hate people that are I mean, look, they hate people that are doing better than them. Okay? It's this, like, I'm going to be honest with you, right? Some of the biggest haters in the world are from the UK. And this is something that I've just experienced from witnessing their sports culture. He ain't suspect at this point. He's guilty. Yeah, for real. Guilty as charged, Sanchez says. All right. So, everybody on the comment section below, let me know what part of the world you are from. And also, don't forget to drop a like, drop a share button. Also, drop a subscribe. And also, please hit some super chats as well if you can. So, life in England is very hard. You guys understand that, right? I'm going to tell you what I don't like about England and why I think a lot of them are haters. Look, it's very difficult to come up in England. See, here in America, I think it's a lot easier to move up a class status. Really easy. Toxic Gameplay says UK fighters hated Floyd when he fought Ricky Hatton and flicked him off. That's the thing, right? They don't like somebody like Floyd. Killer Oh Yes says, "Are you a boxer, brother?" I fought Muay Thai and MMA. So yeah, that's the thing with Floyd, right? He's the quintessential symbol of hate for the Garys of the UK. Look, let me be perfectly honest, right? Floyd is not my type of guy either. I'm not with the whole flashing at the money or this and not, doing all of this boasting, or I'm not with all that, right? That's his own lifestyle. That's what he does. Does not for me. But Floyd is a symbol of hate for the white Garys of England. The whole Playboy persona is not you. No, no, that's not the persona that I give off at all. Sanchez says liked and subscribed. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Shout outs to you and shout outs to everybody around the world. Um, so that persona that Floyd has, they don't like it. They never liked it. Look at Prince Nassim. They never liked it. At the same time, too, here's another thing, right? I'm going to tell you in on a little game that they play in the UK, okay? And I've experienced it myself in a boxing chat, and I'm going to tell you about it. Floyd still has yet to read a page of a Harry Potter book. Yeah, that's true. So I'm about to tell you right now, right? In 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you uh, Floyd has yet to read a page. Man, that's hilarious, man. Yeah, you know what? That's the reason why Floyd is the best in the world, right? Because of the fact that he really didn't do anything else in his life other than box. So as a result of him just doing nothing but boxing his whole entire life, this is where he's at, right? This is where he's at. He's at a stage where he knows nothing else other than boxing. So speaking of which, let me tell you in on a little secret that the UK people are on, right? There's this game that they play. Obviously, it's called banter. And they sort of use it also when they are in, let's say, in a sports setting. Oh, I hate your team. Your team sucks, or this and that. You're wankers. Somebody's always a wanker. Somebody's always a sausage. Somebody's always a mushroom. All these other different slangs or terminologies that they make fun of with people, right? That's what they have going on. That's what they do. They play in on this little game. And then the person that they attack fights back and they're in on it. But then when Ben Whittaker I think sort of spat at or uh, confronted or got into the faces of people in the crowd, or rather the coach of Liam Cameron, they sort of were taken back, like, oh, hold on, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to be a Dosser. There you go. There's another one. Pro gamer. Hi, how you doing, my man? I do remember you. So they're thinking they're playing, they're in on a little game together, right? And the next thing you know, one guy takes it really serious because maybe the other guy sort of ascribes to more of an honor culture. And one example of this is Khabib and Conor McGregor, because even John Kavanaugh, in the interviews that I've heard him leading up to the Khabib and the Conor fight, he mentioned something to the effect of, well, in the UK, in the Irish culture, my man, that we have this thing called banter. You know what I mean? And so he thinks that it's just banter or it's just playing around. And then he says to Khabib in the fight, hey, it's just business. Well, it's not just business for some people. And then it got serious. Some people really got serious with the matter at hand. The same thing happened, right? I got into it with somebody at a UK boxing, community chat. I think it was called, what was it? Boxing Banter, right? It was a UK based. Obviously, there's a few American guys there, but most of the people in the chats were mostly British guys, and they were very rude British dudes. So you know how it is, banter or this and that. We're just whatever, right? This guy gets into it with me, whoop de woo. Next thing you know, it becomes like, I'm going to come after you in this type of way, or it got serious. Let's just put it like that, right? But yeah, that's what it is. He was thinking we're playing in these rules of engagement where we're just going to go back and forth. And then he said something I really didn't like, so then I had to basically up the ante on him on that. But for those that know, if you don't, it's not for you to know. And yeah, Lovebug says, do you think Wes Watson will be a great president of the U.S. in the future? Probably not. But somebody like Donald Trump sort of set the wave for other people to think that they could do it, right? Similar to Conor McGregor. You see, a lot of people do believe that Conor McGregor can somehow become the president of Ireland. The thing is, it's a different culture that they have in Ireland than we do in the United States. You see, this correlates also into Ben Whittaker and the UK and Ireland in total, right? You see, people in Ireland, they're never going to support Conor McGregor the way that Americans are going to support you here. Because here in America, we love to see people move up. We love to see Donald Trump become a TV host and then become the most powerful man in the world. That's the American mentality. In the England and the UK, they want to put you in your place. Oh, you want to be a politician, huh? Well, you're supposed to be an MMA fighter, Conor McGregor. You're supposed to be put in one box. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the reality of people there, right? That's what they want to do with you there. They want to put you in a box, and then it goes into Ben Whittaker. Ben Whittaker wants to be a whole lot bigger than what he is within his own little hometown circumference. And the English don't want him to do that. They even say to him, hey, go back to America with all of that. Do you think Wes Watson will be a great president of the U.S. in the future? Yeah, we read that. Buckley versus Sean Brady, who would you pick? Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to go with Sean Brady on that one, just based on the grappling. Or, you know what? Buckley could knock him out. Ooh, that's a 50-50 fight, really. Killer, oh yes, says, talk about Islam versus Taporia match, brother. Okay, so this is how I see with that matchup come about, right? I think that Islam is going to take him down over and over and over and over again. I think that Ilya Tapora will have great moments on the feet where he does knock or rock Islam Makhachev a few times. I could see that. I could see him putting him in danger, but I could see Islam Makhachev recovering to where he comes back and puts a beating on Ilya Topora on the ground and on the ground and pound position. I think it's going to look very similar to the first Volkanovski fight, because who Ilya Topora is right now is what Volkanovski was before he got damaged like that. And look at Volkanovski now; he's now the featherweight champion of the world due to the technicalities of Ilya Topora realistically not wanting to cut weight anymore. Toxic Gameplay says, how would Brock Lesnar do if he was in his prime in today's MMA scene? I tell you what, I think Brock Lesnar would dominate right now if he was healthy. You want to know why I say that? So the reason why I say that, and the reason why I believe he would dominate, is because the heavyweights right now, for whatever reason, are just not as skilled as the way that they should be. Right? They're not. Like the skill level is just not there for the heavyweights. So for Brock Lesnar to come in here, I think that he would absolutely kick butt. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. He would kick butt, and a lot of these dudes would not be able to get up after he wrestles them to the ground. And you know what? You also have to take into high consideration Brock Lesnar was coming off of diverticulitis, right? Which really affected his stomach, which again affected his core. And you know that your core is where you really, have a high emphasis of your explosivity, right? Your power punching, your shooting for your takedowns, and all that. All of that became compromised. Yeah, I always thought Ngannou was just an in-shape street fighter. He is. He's an in-shape street fighter that developed into a full-time MMA, well-rounded fighter. So JC Reyes says, who do you think will win versus DDP and Khamzat? How would it play out if it pushed through? Yeah, so I made a video about that. I urge you guys to check it out about Khamzat possibly getting an interim title fight. But if it was DDP, I did make a prediction video about that too. So I'll briefly give you guys a little synopsis on that. I think that that fight is going to be a lot harder for DDP and Khamzat, right? Meaning there's going to be a lot of scrambling exchanges between them. I think that Khamzat is much better on the feet. I think that he has the better boxing. He has the better kickboxing, better kicks. But again, I think the unorthodox striking style of Dricus, although doesn't really look as aesthetically pleasing, is very effective, and I think will also really give Khamzat a run for its money. I think these two guys were meant to fight each other, and I think that you would probably see a rematch. But the first fight, I think, is that Khamzat is going to come out the victor with a split decision. I think it's going to be close down to the wire. And then in the second rematch, I think that Khamzat finishes him because Khamzat is now going to have that cage time of understanding how to deal with someone like that. So never let us live it down. I'm NGL, man. I'm glad he was robbed against Fury because MMA fans would have never. Okay. And then come on backs has an emoji. All right. So so what else? A little recap on what we talked about. We're going to go for an hour on this one. This is about to be 1 hour of this live stream. Today we talked about Robert. I'm sorry, I always mention Robert Whittaker, and you'll probably hear that in the video as well, me calling him Robert Whittaker, but he's not Robert Whittaker. He's Ben Whittaker, right? Why he is hated by the British public. And like I said in the description below, the answers may shock you. I gave you guys shocking details on that. Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates, why it's going to be a one-sided fight. On top of that, we just talked about DDP and Khamzat. We talked about a whole wide range of things with great questions from everybody from around the world. So for now, This is all that I have for you guys. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next content, inshallah.